One side of the moon appears to be taking a harder hit from the solar wind than the other, and scientists now think Earth itself may be the reason. Welcome to the Automated Daily, Tech News Edition, the podcast created by generative AI. Today is July 23rd, 2026. I'm Trend Teller, and here's what matters in technology today. This episode is brought to you by SurveyMonkey. Don't just know what happened, know why. SurveyMonkey can help you unlock insights by combining feedback with operational data to get vital context. Find the link in the episode notes. Tesla is taking a very literal approach to teaching robots. At its Grünheide plant in Germany, selected employees will wear backpack cameras so the company can capture how they handle tools and carry out assembly tasks, then use that footage to train Optimus. It is a clear sign Tesla wants humanoid robots to learn real factory work from real workers. But the timing is still fuzzy. And in Germany, it also raises worker representation questions because the reported plan has not yet gone through the Works Council. That robot push comes with a reality check. In its latest shareholder update, Tesla backed away from expecting volume production of the Cybercab, Tesla Semi, and Megapack 3 to begin next year, and it also softened earlier language around high-volume Optimus production. So the company's direction is obvious. More AI, more robotics, less dependence on traditional car making alone. The harder part is execution, and Tesla is now asking investors to accept a longer runway. China also delivered one of the biggest AI stories of the day. Beijing-based Moonshot AI released Kimi K3, an open-weight model that researchers say looks much closer to top US systems than many expected, especially in coding and other long-context work. The broader point is not just that one model launched. It is that Chinese labs still appear capable of building frontier systems despite US chip restrictions, which makes the global AI race look a lot tighter than it did not long ago. At the same time, Beijing is tightening control over the social side of AI. Chinese regulators are moving to sharply restrict AI companion chatbots, banning minors from using them and requiring platforms to prevent emotionally dependent or harmful interactions. That creates an interesting contrast. China wants to be seen as a serious leader in AI capability in global governance, but it is also showing very little patience for AI products that start to look like substitutes for human relationships. In the US, one of the biggest legal fights over AI training data just turned into one of the biggest settlements. A federal judge approved a $1.5 billion deal in the Anthropic books case after claims that pirated books were used to help train Claude. It's an important signal that even if courts end up allowing some training on copyrighted material, the way companies acquire that data still matters. The AI industry may get room to innovate, but not a free pass on sourcing. And despite all the automation talk, the labor market still is not showing the dramatic AI shock many people expected by now. Anthropic economist Peter McCrory says the evidence so far points more toward augmentation than replacement, with AI helping workers do more rather than driving broad unemployment higher. Meanwhile, Datadog says companies are already moving from AI experiments to real production systems, often using several model providers at once. So the technology is maturing quickly, but the economic effects still look more gradual than catastrophic. The plumbing for AI agents is also starting to take shape. A draft web standard called WebMCP is gaining support from browser makers as a way for websites to expose tools directly to AI agents, instead of forcing those agents to scrape pages or click around clumsily. It is early and almost nobody is using that scale yet, but this is the kind of behind-the-scenes change that could matter a lot. If agents become useful on the web, they will need cleaner ways to interact with websites than pretending to be distracted humans. Investors, for their part, are still spending heavily on the idea that automation is moving into the physical world. Travis Kalanick's company Atoms raised $1.7 billion to expand from its cloud kitchens roots into broader robotics and industrial automation. That includes areas like heavy industry, logistics, and potentially mining. Big funding rounds like this suggest that plenty of capital still believes the next major AI opportunity is not only in software, but in machines that can do real-world work. On the defense side, Ukraine and the United States are reportedly deepening cooperation around drones. The new framework could send Ukrainian combat drones to the U.S. for testing and evaluation, with longer-term potential for broader manufacturing ties. That matters because Ukraine has become one of the world's fastest innovation labs for unmanned warfare. On the front line, drones and ground robots are already taking over jobs once done by soldiers, including resupply, casualty evacuation, and some armed missions. Militaries everywhere are paying attention. Space brought a pair of striking updates. First, new analysis of samples returned by China's Chang'e 6 mission suggests the moon's far side is hit by a more energetic solar wind than the near side, likely because Earth's magnetic environment partly alters the flow on the side that faces us at certain times. It is the first direct sample evidence that Earth changes the space weather record preserved in lunar soil. And farther out, the James Webb Space Telescope confirmed a third giant planet in the Beta Pictoris system by detecting atmospheric fingerprints rather than spotting a clean point of light, which opens another path for finding worlds in messy, dusty systems. One more story worth watching in medical technology. Science Corporation received European approval for Prima, an implant designed to restore some functional vision for people with severe age-related macular degeneration. Early reports suggest patients have been able to do practical tasks again, including reading and drawing. That is notable not just as a product milestone, but as a reminder that some of the most meaningful tech advances are still the ones that quietly give people back abilities they had lost. Thanks to our sponsor, Lindy. Lindy is your ultimate AI assistant that proactively manages your inbox, meetings, and calendar, so you can focus on what actually matters. Find the link in the episode notes. That's the tech briefing for July 23rd, 2026. The theme today is simple. AI and robotics are moving out of the demo phase and into factories, courtrooms, browsers, hospitals, and battlefields. Thanks for listening to the Automated Daily, Tech News Edition. I'm Trent Teller, and I'll be back tomorrow.